Picture this: a normal Irish family, cousins hanging out, sleepovers, teenagers watching movies, parents trusting the older cousin in the house because he seems responsible, the cool one, the grown up. And decades later, that same man is sitting in court waiting to be sentenced for crimes that stayed hidden for years. This story is heavy, and it starts in the past, but it does not stay there. Because some of the most shocking crimes do not come from strangers in dark streets. Sometimes they happen inside family homes where everyone feels safe. And that is exactly what the guards uncovered. This case centers on Dublin man who cannot be named to protect the victims. That is how Irish law works in cases like this. If his name is revealed, the victims could be identified, so the court keeps his identity private. But the facts of what happened are public and they are serious. At the time of sentencing, the man was in his early 60s. He worked as an engineer. He had a steady job. He helped care for his elderly parents. On paper, he looked like normal, responsible adult, the kind of person families trust around children. And for years, that trust opened the door to everything. Because, according to the court, this man spent years grooming children inside his own extended family. 6 children. 5 of them were his first cousins. The sixth was a cousin of a cousin. Family gathering, sleepovers, hanging out in the house, a relaxed environment where nobody expected danger. Detective Garda Cathy told the court the children looked up to him as a cool old cousin. Teenagers often gather in his home. There was drinking, socializing, freedom. If you were a kid in the 1980s, that probably felt exciting, a place where adults were not watching too closely. But behind the scene, something was very wrong. The offenses happened in homes in Dublin and Cork. Some took place in the family home when he was younger. Others later happened at his own Dublin home. And the timeline is long. Most of the offenses happened between the early 1980s and around 1990. 10 years later, around the turn of the millennium, one of the victims says he assaulted her again as an adult. This is not a short period of time. This is years of silence, years of confusion carried by children who did not fully understand what happened. And the most shocking part, the crime stayed hidden for decades. The case only came to light when one victim went to the guards in March 2023, more than 30 years later. Think about that, 30 years of silence, and once one person spoke up, others came forward. Because when one voice breaks the silence, others realize they were not alone. One victim told the court she was between 9 and 11 years old when the abuse began in the late 1980s. She described being brought into his bedroom and told to lie on the bed. She said she froze in fear and felt confused and terrified. She later told the court those feelings never left her. Years later, she met him again and stayed overnight at his Dublin home. During the night, she woke to find him in her bed. She told the court she froze with fear just like she had when she was a child. She said guilt followed her for years before she realized she had been taken advantage of. Another victim told the court he was 13 when he was assaulted in the 1980s. Another boy was around 12 when the abuse escalated and involved money and gifts. That detail matters because grooming often includes gifts and rewards. It creates loyalty, confusion, silence. Another victim told guards he froze during an assault and told the man it was not right. The reply he received stayed with him for years. Why can't you have a bit of fun? Imagine hearing that as a child. Another victim said he was threatened that his parents would be told he was drinking and smoking if he spoke out. Fear, shame, confusion, family pressure, all powerful reasons why victims stay silent. And silence they stayed for decades until March 2023, when one report changed everything. The investigation uncovered years of abuse involving multiple victims. The men later pleaded guilty to 10 sample counts of indecent and sexual assault, 10 charges, 6 victims, years of offending, and the court also heard something else. This was not the first time he faced the justice system. He had 3 previous convictions for sexual assault from the early 2000s. In 2005, he received an 18-month suspended sentence. During the court hearing, the defense said he showed genuine remorse. Psychological assessment said he was considered a low risk of reoffending. The defense also spoke about traumatic experiences in his own childhood and said he entered guilt pleas at an early stage. The court heard he knows he is going to prison, but this case is not really about the man, it is about the victim. Victims' unpacked statements described long-lasting trauma, family division, shame carried for decades, people still trying to understand what happened to them as children. One victim said the abuse caused splits within the family, and that sentence says everything. When harm happens inside families, the damage spreads everywhere. Trust breaks, relationships fracture, silence spreads. A judge remanded the man into custody and set sentencing for late February. So right now the story is still unfolding. The sentence is coming, and when it arrives, it will close one legal chapter of a story that began decades ago. But for victims, the emotional chapter continues. This case is a reminder that many crimes do not begin with strangers. They begin with trust, and sometimes just move slowly, very slowly. But when one person finally speaks up, it can change everything. If you want fast updates on Irish true crime, subscribe. We cover everything before it hits mainstream headlines. Thank you.